Welcome to lesson 7.13 or 713. Getting into more types of word problems. This is going to be our last major one for a while, but we look at word problems about equal groups. And in this case, we got our new pattern. This is really our multiplication and division type pattern that seems to come up a lot in word problems. And what we're looking at here is this idea. Right, we have a number of groups. Sorry, that's not right. We have the number in each group, we have the number of groups, and then we have a total, right? So this is the number in each group, the number of groups, and a total. And we're going to work with that pattern today as we're working with this. And this is our only pattern because this one just seems to give people problems as they work with this plot of equal groups. But if we look at this pattern and we work hard on it, we can do well with it. So our example says Juanita packed 25 marbles in each box. If she filled 32 boxes, how many marbles did she pack in all? All right. So here's our pattern. We got n times g equals t. Right. We start with our 25 marbles in each box, right? So that tells us the number in one group, right? If she filled 32 boxes, right, that tells us the number of groups, right? It's boxes, not groups, but we get this idea of 32, and that should give us the total number of marbles, right? How many marbles, total number. And so we set up our equation. Now we can solve. Since we already have our variable alone, we can go ahead and just solve for this problem. And so we're going to take 25 and we're going to multiply by 32, and we're going to get an answer of 800. And so we would say that t equals 800, and then we can throw our label on there. Always important of marbles. Does that make sense? Let's think about this, right? What can we round? This is about 30, right? 30 times 25, or even just 30 times 30 is 900, right? We rounded both of them up. It makes sense, all right? And so we can use that as our first example. Let's do another one just to make sure we're getting this concept down, because they're not always that nice to us. Right? So it says, example 2 says, movie tickets were $8 each. The total ticket sales were $960. How many tickets were sold? Right? So we throw down our formula. N times G equals T. We start with $8, right? What does the $8 represent? The N, the G, or the T? And hopefully as you think about that, you're either talking to the computer or talking in the head, right? Maybe your mom, dad, or someone sitting next to you is giving you looks because you just said, $8 is the N. If you didn't say that, okay, I understand. All right, but $8 is definitely the N, right? And the G, the number of groups, right? We don't know. We don't know the number of tickets that were sold. So that's our unknown, but we do know how much money was made as a total for this idea. So we get 960 as our total. From there then, right, we got to get our G alone. So we got to rearrange, right? What's our fact family, right? When we look at this, right, what a factor times a factor equals a product. But if I'm looking to solve for a factor, really what I'm doing is I'm changing this problem into a division problem. Right? And that really becomes the connection with this picture and with this idea, is that I can take a multiplication pattern but use division to help me solve, or to help yourself solve. And so now that we understand the problem, we can throw those numbers in there and solve. And once again, I didn't show you the work. I understand. Just to try and keep these videos a little bit shorter, I hope you understand that you're going to take 960 and divide by 8 to get an answer of 120. Right? And so you're doing those steps to solve. So we have this pattern, N times G equals T, and here is one for you to work with. And hopefully nothing's cut off on your screen. But there you go, 600 new cars were delivered by 40 trucks. How many cars were delivered by each truck? Figure out how those numbers fit into our pattern, and you got it. That is 7.13.